Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mike Best Bodybuilding Show, brought to you by ProSups and Independence Gym. I'm sitting here with AZ's own new IFBB Pro, Kelly Schmidt, and we're going to rattle off a few things that have nothing to do with shorts and men's physique at all. So welcome to the show, bro.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you for, and if you guys don't know Kelly or are not familiar with Kelly, he's, so I say it's quite popular word, synonymous with AZ and really the industry. So anyways, well, you are, dude. I mean, I think you're well known. I think you've made a staple point here, and I remember Kelly back in 2011 and even before that, and coming from, I didn't know who this guy was, to now, I mean, dude, you're an IFBB pro, and I'm envious that you have that.
Yeah.
Dude. I think it's awesome. So again, congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Let's just dive right into that. You know, I want to talk a bit about the pro card, the journey there. I mean, we don't have to go back to the back because we've had Kelly on the show before, but I do want to talk about the last couple shows.
Okay.
And talk about the new coach and how that progression has changed you from your old physique.
Right.
And how it catapulted you into becoming, an IFBB pro.
Well, my journey's been about 2.5 years in the making. I got into this in 2012, end of 2011, somewhere in there. Physique was started in 2011, and I got into it then, and so this has been a 2.5 year journey. This was my 8th show in 2.5 years, and each show I strive to get better and better and better. My last 2 shows I've worked with a coach, Terry Placker, with Team Fidelis out of California, because I felt like it was the time for me to have some extra eyes on me, have some extra input instead of trying to make myself crazy all the time. If you do this, if you've prepped yourself, you realize all the things that you go through mentally, physically, the doubt, the ups, the downs. So to have a third person, different point of view makes it a lot easier to stay on track with what you're doing. I'm a coach. Do I necessarily need somebody? Probably not. Do I need somebody? Probably. Okay.
And you guys, and right there, real quick, let's touch on that, because I think that means a lot, is when you say that you are a coach, this is what you do, and you're reaching out. And I think as you start to get into this industry, whether you're entry level or want to take it to the top level, surround yourself by people that, one, have the best interest for you, but also know what they're talking about,
right.
And know what they're doing and can guide you down that road. How did his methods, it's Terry?
Yeah, Terry Placker.
How did Terry's methods differ from, say, some of your own?
He had a lot of off-the-wall things. Actually, not off-the-wall, but a lot of things that have worked out better for me, actually. I kind of would starve myself, deplete myself, too much cardio. We work in a lot of different things as far as, carb cycling, cheat meals, different things like this to keep my metabolism going, to keep me full. My first few shows, I diet down too much,
right.
I come in flat. People don't realize the process, unless you've done it 12, 16, 18 plus weeks, to get there. There's so many different variables that it
right.
takes to get there, and if you mess them up, it's going to throw everything off for the very end. So he did some things I might not have done on myself. Maybe ran my carbs higher when I wouldn't have. Maybe ran my carbs lower when I wouldn't have.
Right.
Maybe the cardio, different things like that. But when I went to him, I was like, I've got a lot of experience. I've got 15 years experience in this industry. I've got a couple years in the physique industry behind me. But I was willing to go, you know what, coach me, help me out, let me know. And so my last 2 shows, I won an overall title. And the second show we worked together on, I went IFBB Pro. So, and I've had a lot of help along the way too,
right.
From many, many people. So I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I've done all this myself, because, I lost my ego a couple years ago too with this sport. And this is unfortunately an ego-driven sport. But, I'm
yes,
willing to, I'm finding the more honest and real I am and accepting of certain things, it's like, things come back to me. So for me to say, yeah, I work with a coach, that's helped me out, or I've had this person help me with posing, or that person help me. I've had a lot of help to achieve that IFBB Pro status. And, with the onset of physique and bikini, everybody wants to do this now.
Right.
And it's like, for me, I don't want to just do shows to do shows. My goal was to achieve IFBB status at some point.
Right.
I've worked hard for 2.5 years. Granted, bodybuilders, and I've got pure respect for bodybuilders and the lineage of where this sport started, because you've got bodybuilders that train their whole lives to try to go pro and sacrifice and subject so much more to do that. So I don't want to take anything away.
No, and I don't think you are.
And
And I think as a bodybuilder, that was probably the hardest thing to swallow when men's physique started. But I think now at a point, and again, I think it's evolved into something where, you know, we talk really, you know, a little bit about the conditioning level of, you know, the men's physique guys has gone from what I would say a milky look to these guys are shredded, man. I mean, the top 5 guys, I don't even know how, I mean, the judging is, you know, it's everything's so close. It's apples and oranges, you know?
So yeah, anyways, you know, and two, with the IFBB, International Federation of Bodybuilders, right? We're not taking anything away from that. I'm an IFBB Physique Pro, you know, and I know there's been things said in the past like, this is the Federation of Bodybuilding, and it's like, well, there's a space for us too, and there's a space for everybody to get along. You know, we've talked about, I'll probably never be a good bodybuilder, and do I want to do what it's going to take to be a great bodybuilder? I probably don't. This is a more realistic lifestyle for me. It's a more realistic lifestyle for a lot of people. So it's emerging. It's going to be around, and it's, you know, we want to try to get along with everybody and have the same respect given, you know. And I think, you know, to be, wow, I'm an IFBB pro. It's kind of crazy. And to achieve that in 2.5 years, when I've been in this industry 15 years and I've seen guys for, you know, a decade try to achieve this. Well, it's two different things. I'm not an IFBB bodybuilder. I'm an IFBB physique pro. You know?
Exactly. So, and I think that you have a valid point there, because it's not, you didn't place the standards for this is what you have to do to be a physique. This is what the standard came out with from the IFBB, and everyone just went ahead and followed it. And then of course everything evolves.
It's constantly evolving.
But you know, my point is that, you know, you guys are only following the steps of what the IFBB set up. Do you know what I mean? So the shorts, or whatever you want to say, you know, however, because it does. I think that again, men's physique gets kind of this, oh, it's men's physique, man. You know what I mean? And the truth is now, if you've been 3% body fat, or you're a bodybuilder and you've been at that level, you understand what the suffering it takes to get to that. And so to me, I respect anybody that can get in that kind of condition. And you know, the condition that you brought to your pro card was the best I've seen you. You know? And if you don't mind me asking, what did you come in your body weight? Because I thought you posted one pic, and I was like, Jesus, man.
I started out about 16 weeks out, 184 pounds, coming out of my off season, which I try to put on as much size as I can to help me when I come down. I probably hit the stage about 152, 153. And I like to make clear with that too, you know, because social media, I put all these things up there, you know, that weight was for a day. You know, as soon as I drank water, I ate, and I did all those other things that come about, I recouped a lot of weight. And I posted on Facebook, you know, post-show, I've put back on 30 pounds within 2 weeks, you know, of eating. And granted, 2 weeks, I went a little bit crazy. And like I said, I've been doing this for 2.5 years, you know. I maybe haven't been the smartest in my choices post-show, but, you know, I'm back on track with things I do, and that's what I do. And I've been doing this long enough that I know how to kind of go at it and then reel myself back in. So, you know, I've recouped pretty much most of that weight. Am I shredded right now? No, but I'm also not getting ready for a show, and that's, you know, that's another thing I'd like to touch on is, you know, with social media, Instagram, all these different things, people are looking at these pictures. I'm guilty of it too. I put pictures of me up shredded, and it's like, oh my gosh, I want to look like that guy. But the reality is, I look like that for a few hours, a day, whatever the case may be. You see these pictures, photo shoots, different things. You know, there's a lot of preparation that goes into that, and I think people need to understand and realize that these people you look at, male, female, or alike, that these standards are set so high. It's like, these people aren't walking around like that all the time, you know? And from the coaching standpoint, if we can touch on it, for females, it's like, I want females to know, getting into this on the bikini side, it's like, there's a lot of things that go into this as far as being successful, dieting, whatever, you know, to put you up on stage in this pristine moment, that you have to be ready to know that there's real life after that. That you're not going to look like some of these bikini pros all the time. And one of the things I'm starting to see is, especially with these young girls, is they're trying to live up to these standards that, number one, aren't real standards, and number two, maybe aren't standards that they should be shooting for. You know what I mean? So from a coaching standpoint, I've seen a lot of that, and I want to be a little bit of a voice for that, for people to understand, men and women both, to understand what they're getting into with this. You know, it's like, you know, when you see pictures of people, you're not like that all the time. You, shredded, crazy for a show, you don't walk around like that 24/7. You know? So people need to understand that when you're looking at someone on stage and going, I want to look like that, it's the same thing as a 60-year-old woman coming to me and going, you know, I want to look like this 18-year-old fitness model. We have to be realistic with our goals and what we're trying to do.
Right.
You know, so
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that you have to set goals that are obtainable and realistic, and you know, striving to you know, and again, I'll take it back to the coach thing.
You got to be the best you can be.
Right.
You best you can be, not the person you follow on Instagram or Facebook
right.
or Twitter, all these different things.
Right, and you know, touching on him, you know, Kelly talking about, you know, post-show and things like that, and you know, even with women, I think it's even a bigger deal, you know, because they're to this moment where they're dolled up, they're all these things, and it's for a short period of time, and then especially with new people, because they don't realize that it's not the same in a couple of weeks later.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
They don't know what to do because they've added some body fat. They don't understand, and I think that goes down to having a good coach and somebody that cradles you out of it. You know, a lot of people refer to reverse dieting.
Yeah.
Reverse dieting, however you want to label it. You know, I'm like you. We've been doing this for a long time, so I can eat a bunch of crap if I wanted to, and I can dial my body back in. That's just becoming in tune with your body. And I think that comes with time and age and muscle maturity and understanding how the body works. But when you have that nailed down for yourself, you can get away with 2 weeks of crap and then go right back in, and you'll see your body get, you know, recoup right back to, you know, where it is. Hence, that's the whole thing with this, you know, the macros thing that I'm doing. And tomorrow I have on Tyler and Jake Elston, who just turned pro as a bodybuilder in the Natural Federation. But you know, that again, it's everything. I think it's just, you know.
Well, it boils back down to when you're talking about coaching, teams, whatever you want, you've got to have, and that's part of me doing this from the coaching standpoint, is I feel to be a good coach that you've had to have gone through this. You have to know what's going on. And for Tina and I, who's my love of my life, my partner, we specialize in physique and bikini only because that's what we do.
Right.
If a bodybuilder were to come to me, I'd refer him to some people that would probably be more well suited for him. Same thing with figure or physique girls. That's not my thing, and it's not what I do. But part of why I've immersed myself so much in the physique arena is, like, I don't aspire to be Mr. IFBB Pro Physique guy, like this is what I do, but I do feel I need to have these experiences behind me to better help people that come to me for coaching and all those things, instead of going, well, yeah, I've watched some shows.
Well,
you know,
yeah, and I totally agree. I think you get instant credibility when you're in the trenches doing what you're asking of others to do.
Right.
And not to mention, it really, for me, and when I help out somebody and get them ready for a show, then I can just look at them and go, well, look, I do it. So I don't want to hear any excuses. You know, you've signed up to do this, now let's do it. Because we all have, you know, life
and my clients will know that too, especially as I've been prepping with some. I don't have a lot of sympathy when they're hungry or they're tired or this and that, because especially when I'm going through it at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I do this and I go 100%, you know, so it's like for you to tell me you're hungry or you're tired or this and that, it's like I'm doing it at the same time, or I've done it.
Right.
I get it. You know what I mean? So that is important, you know, in having a coach and a team or whoever that's going to support you and understand what you're going through, you know. So as far as the coaching is concerned.
Well, I follow you. You know, I follow you on social media quite a bit, and I read a lot of your stuff, man. I think that you put out a good vibe and you put out a good positive energy, and I think you're welcome. And and I thank you, because that attracts other people, like, you know what I mean? And that's why, you know, I follow you guys, because you guys put that out. I want to ask you, because I think that in the social media world, as big as it is now, how do you deal with the negative stuff that comes along with it? You know, and I think not only just because we all have haters and naysayers and those people, but just even outside of the regular talk that goes inside of this industry, there's also just people when you're walking a grocery store where you look different. You know what I mean? You look different. So how do you deal with negativity involved with this sport, not only with your own peers in the sport, but people outside of it?
Well, you know, I've gone through a lot of personal changes myself in the last few years, which has led to where I'm at. And my ultimate goal is to be a motivator, is to be inspiring to others, not just for fitness, but for character and integrity.
Right.
You know, birds of a feather flock together. Keep your, you know, whoever's in your circle is going to be reflective of who you are.
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer in those things now, and I've had to really look at myself first you know, over the past couple
that's
of
the
years,
hardest thing
and
to
go,
do, too.
hey, might I be a little bit of the problem with these kind of people I have around me or whatever? As far as the sport's concerned, it's an ego-driven sport.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter who you are, you're getting up on that stage to say, look how good I look.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. And you know, it doesn't matter if someone in your family passed away, you lost 100 pounds, you overcame a disability or whatever, all those judges care is, how good do you look? That's it,
Right.
you know? So the sport we're in is purely ego-driven, you know, and it's you're gonna have that. My goal is to try to shed a little bit of light. That's why via social media, it's not just all about fitness or whatever. It's about motivating, it's about inspiring, it's about supporting other people. So me personally, I don't allow people that, you know, negativity have crossed me in a certain way or whatever. I don't wish any harm, I don't anything like that, but I've just learned that I keep my circle very tight now,
Right.
you know, and I keep the right kinds of people in my circle. And as I'm doing that, and as I'm doing the right things, not pretending I'm doing the right things,
Right.
but truly from my heart doing the right things, I'm finding I'm being surrounded with more of these people, and I'm receiving a lot of blessings out of it too. So, and it's hard to do because in our world, you know, it's like, this clique, this
Right.
person, I like this person, well, I don't like this guy, I don't,
Right.
you know what I mean? And
Yep.
it's like, I wanna try to get along with everybody.
Right.
I'll support any team, I'll support any coach. I've worked with a lot of different coaches here. I'm not here to say this guy, I'm better than this guy, I'm better than that guy. The prep side of all this is a small part of my business. I've been successful for 15 years with average clientele, and that's what I like. You
Sure.
know, I do the prep stuff because I enjoy it and I do it myself, but it's a small part of what I do, and I don't care to get involved in the he said, she said, this guy's that, and that's part of why I believe you and I have established somewhat of a friendship, is that we have that same kind of belief.
Right.
You know? And we're not going to get along with everybody. That's just the way life works, but you know, if we can try to be the best people we can be and do unto others, then you know, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I think that the energies, you know, if anybody knows me, knows that I think the world runs one way, and some people think I'm odd, but I believe it's what, and the energies you put out are the
Right.
energies you get back in, and that's how the universe is ran. You know, and with that being said, all the good things that are coming to you because you're putting it out. You know what I mean? And and I think it's cool, man. I commend you for that.
Thank you.
So, you know, of course, everyone's going to want to know when you're going to compete next.
You know,
And right away, hold on a second. Right away, he was like, I don't know what I'm. So obviously, you've been asked this question probably a million times since, you know.
I have some ideas, or me and my coach have some ideas. I'm not going to release anything quite yet. You know, like I told you, the last 2.5 years, my life has been dieting, not dieting,
Right.
dieting, not dieting, and that puts a lot of strain on the body. I don't think people really realize when they see all of this stuff. So literally the last 2.5 years have been consumed, and you subject your life to this, even at the physique level. You know, we train just as hard.
Well, if you want to be a
anybody else.
professional at anything, it is your life. Do you know what I mean? And you give up, and you can attest to this, and so can Tina. You guys, you know, you give up freaking holidays, you give up birthdays, you give up New Year's, you give up all those things, you know, and I think that that's where, and you're right, you know, you've spoke a lot about getting people to know the reality of what this sport is, and I think that that's great, because you're probably preaching that over to the people that come in as an influx to you, is giving them the reality check of all the magazines you open up. What really is that is it's a great marketing ploy, but it's a lot of hard work, man, and none of this stuff comes overnight. And Kelly's exactly right. Your physique that you carry around, you know, as a active competitor isn't a physique that you're going to carry around on your everyday.
Right.
You know,
I wish
deal,
we
you know?
could do
Yeah.
that.
Well, and, you know, and again, it's just so much. This sport demands so much on your body, and so much, you know,
Well, and
focus and
those
attention.
like we talked about my weight drop and all those different things. I sacrifice muscle in a 30-pound weight drop. You know what I mean?
Right.
Over 16 weeks. So constantly building that up, bring it back down. You know, I'm no longer competing at the regional level, where, granted, regional guys are great. That's how you go pro. But
Sure.
I know what the pros look like. Regional level, you don't know who's showing up until the day you hit that
Right.
stage. You know, you don't know what you're looking for, what the judges are looking for, and that stuff. So in staying true with always trying to better myself and not just grinding out shows, I don't expect to go to a pro show and kill it. I'm happy to do a pro show and stand on stage with other pros if it's last call-outs. You know, I'm cool with that.
Right.
But I still do want to bring a better package than I brought to my last show. So obviously at the pro level, these guys are running bigger, you know, and more conditioned.
Right.
So I have some work to do, and the last 2.5 years have taken its toll on me conditioning and muscle wise, you know. So I want to have a good off season. How long will it be? Don't know for sure.
Right.
You know, there will be pro shows, and it will be sooner than later, because I don't want to be also, you know, I got my pro card and now I'm just not going to do anything with it. But I also do need to think of, you know, my career, the other things that are important to me. This is a small world. NPC, you know, as far as this, if we walked into a grocery store and asked people who an NPC bodybuilder or IFBB bodybuilder was, a lot of people aren't going to know. So I've still got a career. I've still got other goals outside of this. So my main thing is, though, is bringing an even better package. So when people say, oh, he looked great there, but it's like, whoa, he made even more changes here. That's my thing, you know. And so many people get in this and just do shows and do shows and do shows and do shows. And it's like, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to have a good off season. I'm going to change some things in my off season, and I want to come back even better, you know. So that's my main thing. And like I said, we have some ideas, but I don't have anything. I don't like putting those kind of stressors. Like,
don't set yourself up until you.
It's like even my last 4 weeks of this show, I get tired of people going, oh yeah, you're gonna get your pro card. Oh yeah, you're ready. You know, it's like the last 4 weeks, I even stopped kind of documenting. The last month, I stopped documenting everything I was doing because it was making me crazy. People telling me like, are you ready? How you feeling? Oh, you got this and this and that. And I'm realistic. I'm like, I could go to this thing and get last place, you know. And it's like, so I don't like those high expectations put on me. I like to that work in silence and let success make the noise. I really like to do that. So my last month, I didn't really talk about anything until I got close to showtime. And then obviously I start doing things to promote my team, to promote business, to do all those different things. But, you know, and this last prep for me was very hard, mentally and physically. You know, it's 2.5 years of doing this with your partner doing it too. Tina was prepping also. You know, people think, oh my gosh, it must be so great to do it together.
You haven't died with someone.
She gets very emotional and I get very short fused. And you put those two things together and you're fighting over fish and, you know, stupid things that
we
never do, you know.
It's so true.
All these things take its toll. So, you know, Tina's getting ready for North Americans now, which is in about 4 weeks. She's going to go back. She had great placement in her first national event too. You know, I feel like kind of what happened for me was a little bit of an anomaly. And honestly, it's a blessing from God is what I truly feel, because my first national event and I get first place, you know, and I go pro. That doesn't happen for a lot of people. So I feel very blessed for that, you know. And so right now my main focus is, because Tina is still my client also. So my goal is prepping her, getting her ready for North Americans, which is coming up. So that's our main focus, and then we'll see what happens there, and we'll keep hitting the grind how we need to. So there's a lot of things lifestyle wise that we're at right now, but I'm still, the way I look at it, there's no off season, you know. There's no off season. I'm still working, I'm still building. You know, I was back at it as soon as we got back in the gym, working on things, you know, from looking at pictures and stuff like that I want to work on. So, you know, yeah, it's coming up for sure. Don't know when. We have some ideas.
But there is a pro show in the future.
Oh yeah.
Cool. And I think that in one thing I wanted to, before I forget, is I think now that you're a pro and you're talking about not doing show after show after show, and I think it's a awesome deal that you get an opportunity to pick and choose what shows fit the best for you. Do you know what I mean? Like that would be, and to me, that would be what I would do, is even if and when I get my pro card, it won't be about jumping into a 212 show. It'll be about doing the right 212 show that fits for me, that gives me the best chance to be a competitive IFBB pro. Because in the end, with that card, I just want to be a I'm not going to be a Mr. Olympia, because it just isn't going to happen. But I want to be a competitive IFBB pro, you know, and I'm sure that that's probably where you want to be as well.
Well, competitive from the standpoint, I want to bring the best I can. I don't want to go, okay, now I'm a pro, so I got to jump in these shows, you know. If I was ready for it, yeah, maybe I would. I don't really feel, you know, the toll my body has taken, which people don't realize, is I need to give it a little bit of a rest, and I need to put some quality muscle back on me. Because in a 30-pound weight loss, people always ask me, they're like, well, that can't be all body fat. And absolutely it wasn't. I sacrificed muscle in pulling down to do that, you know, and that's part of, with coaching and having someone to look at you and help you and make sure that you're headed in the right direction is so important. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on for us. You know, my main thing, like I said, is Tina right now, and you know, getting her the best we can for this next show. There's a few tweaks that we look back, you know, from Masters that we're going to change, but we're going to bring her in a little bit better, and see what happens there. And then after that, depending if she gets one or not, then we'll go from there. You know, so Lots of other things. I've got a lot of personal things going on too, opportunities that are important for me, and you know, we can't do this forever.
Right.
You know, and there's always, I mean, I look at some of these kids coming up now, young guys, early 20, I'm 35, early 20s, that I'm just like, holy crap, my body doesn't respond like these kids' bodies do.
That is
body
so
doesn't
true.
muscle like these
Right.
kids do. You
Right.
know, they can put themselves through the paces. My body hurts.
Right.
My joints ache, you know. So I know I can't ride this forever either, so I'm trying to be smart with opportunities I'm presented with and career-wise, you
Right.
know. So there's a lot going on. Yes, I will be hitting a few pro shows, but exactly which ones right now, don't know for sure.
Right,
So.
and it sounds like, you know, you got a lasso on what you do. It sounds like you have a plan without having a plan,
Right.
you know, so to say, and that's good, man. I think kicking back, putting it in neutral. Obviously, the body has to have, you know, some rest time. I'm right there with you, dude.
Right.
I'm 38 years old. My body aches. This guy, Zach, man, the big man behind the camera, he knows, dude. He's a young kid. He's feeling no pain at all.
Right.
Whereas I'm 38, man. I'm over here. I'm like, dude, we got to stretch longer, man.
Yeah.
I got to do this longer. I need another warm-up set.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, your body goes through a lot.
You've got to be more careful. You've got
Absolutely.
to be more careful
Absolutely.
now with what
I
you
live
do.
smart, and that is, you know, this is an ego-driven sport, but I've learned to leave my ego at the door, and I live for longevity now, because again, you can't do this for 15 years and have that kind of impact, men's physique or bodybuilding,
Right.
on your joints and be comfortable. So,
Yeah.
you know, live smart, be smart, people, especially when you're young, because if you're young, you can extend this out well into your 40s and 50 years
Absolutely.
old, you know, and be active and healthy still.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
Well, you know, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show, but before we get out of here, I do want to ask you just a couple things real quick. Get to know Kelly Schmidt in a one-answer reply. So, favorite food?
Healthy or dirty?
Whatever. Your favorite food, man.
Probably pizza.
You know what? We go to the same place, too, just real quick. We go to, you know, Cheeseburgers in Paradise. If you live in Arizona.
Cold beers.
Yes,
and
cold beer.
cheeseburgers,
Yeah, dude, that place.
That's
Those are the
kind
monster burgers.
of Tina's thing too, because they have sweet potato tots there.
Yes.
But it's like everybody's going there now. So, my thing's pizza right now for cheat meals with her. She loves the sweet potato tots, so that's what we go there mostly for that.
Nice, dude. I love
I'd
that
have
place.
to pick pizza. You know, if it's clean eating, I'll do tilapia and egg whites all day long.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah.
The tilapia,
Absolutely.
really? Even in off season?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really?
I've been eating it today.
I tried to
like
eat it, dude, after the show. I couldn't do it, man.
I've ate it through every single show, and I know people get a bad rap on it, but egg whites and tilapia I absolutely love. I'm still, it's
Well, the
it's
one thing
amazing.
about
It's my
egg whites and tilapia is, and sorry to get off on the subject a little bit, but I'm kind of like that. They process easy, man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't ever
Yeah.
deal with any bloating when you deal with those two.
Well, they've been shown to process the easiest, like biologically
Yeah,
speaking.
I mean,
through
it
the body.
just goes right.
I don't know
you
why tilapia gets such a bad rap.
I think it's just because it tastes.
tilapia.
Yeah.
Well, no, but it's like with metabolic damage and all these people, and it's like tilapia is the culprit. It's like it's an
just a
efficient
protein
protein.
source.
You know what I mean?
That's
It's like-
right.
and it's good.
Right.
You know,
I don't
so-
mind it. I burn mine.
Yeah,
man.
I do too. To make tilapia chips.
Exactly.
That's one of the things me and Tina get in fights with.
Oh, that's
We-
awesome.
The tin foil, and then we peel them up just right, and then you can peel.
Oh
the
yeah,
tilapia
dude! Out there on
chips
the
up.
barbecue. Growing up as a kid, man, what'd you want to be?
You know what? I had a fun, and this would be a whole different thing, but I had kind of weird childhood, not the most happy childhood. I didn't have a lot of goals or hopes. You know, it's really in the last few years with fitness have I decided. My main thing is I want to help others.
Sure.
I want to be a motivator. You
Sure.
know, we're not going
Well,
to
you're doing that, dude.
We're not going to get
You're
into
doing
my
it.
childhood, but to be realistic with you, even up through high school, I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any real dreams, expectations, anything. I was just kind of going through the motions. You know?
Right.
So I don't have some elaborate thing like I want to do this. You know, I got into the fitness industry when I was 20 years old. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I got my first certification at 20 and got into it. I hated it for the first 2 years because I had to do sales and I had to
Right.
do all this stuff that I didn't want to do, but I did it. I did know fitness was what I wanted to do because it feels good to help other people or have someone go, oh my gosh, you know, I had this happen, or I can fit into this, or I'm off this medication or whatever. So that's my real passion, and that's been my passion with this. I think when people meet with me, they see outside of competitions and
Sure.
all that, I genuinely care about my clients and what happens with them, and I want to see success and results. So I didn't have any big goals or dreams. I know it's kind of sad to probably say that, but you know,
Well, no, it's being real and honest,
I
man.
do now, and I believe part of that in my childhood or growing up or whatever has allowed me to really appreciate some things that maybe I wouldn't
Sure.
otherwise, and I truly can help people because I've kind of been where I felt like there was no hope, you know.
Right.
So my goal now dream now is to help other people in whatever regard, whether it be fitness, whether it be just listening, you know, whatever the case may be. And that's what's made Tina and I so successful in our business, is not competing, not the competition prep, but the support that we give to other people.
Sure.
And the genuine support. So.
Well, and that goes a long ways, because when you have genuine intent, then that speaks volume, man.
Right.
And since we're talking about that, are you taking on clients, or can people reach out to you?
And actually, you know, here's what I tell people, we're pretty much full right now. I've messages on Facebook, emails, I haven't been responding because I haven't had the time. I'm trying to work on that. I've actually brought a couple on underneath us to kind of help with kind of the overflow.
Right.
But I never turn away clients. If I have a spot where I can fit somebody, I'll get them in. If not, I'll let them know they may have to wait or whatever.
Sure.
And right now we're kind of working on a waiting list type of deal where we're very busy, and not even from the competition prep side, but just from your average person side. And to be honest, social media has been a godsend for us business-wise, because it allows me to promote and people can see so many different sides. So,
well, it's been huge for the whole entire sport.
Right.
You know,
we're always taking
crazy
clients, but you know, right now we're pretty full, but we're never going to turn people away. If we can fit somebody in, we will.
We'll make it happen.
You know?
If not, then you have people that you can get in and that you feel comfortable with.
Absolutely.
So you guys, if you interested in Kelly Schmidt, or any being involved into what is this pro? Is it pro?
This is Pro Fitness RX.
Pro
This
Fitness
is the actual
RX.
studio. AIP is the competition side. Our team. It's a company I created a ways back. It was actually meant to be something else. It evolved into basically our fitness team.
Right.
The studio, I'm partnered in the studio, and that's actually the name of the studio. So we have other trainers here and all of that. So
cool. Let's see. Before we get out of here, what else do I got for you, Kelly? Favorite color?
Red.
Really?
Yeah, red and black.
Hey, dude, we like those colors, no doubt about that, man. And this is the one that I got to ask you, and you may or may not be able to answer it or not. But your first pro show, you're the MC. Call me out, Kelly Schmidt, where he lands.
You know what? The same thing I tell all my clients is, it's all the reels lining up just right. So you don't know until who's there that day and who. I don't want to be that kind of person that's like, I'm a first placer and I don't want to be on the last placer. I just want to be judged.
Let me ask you this then, without having to close you in, do you feel like you'll be able to be a top 10 placer at a show? Because top 10 at a pro level, dude, it's great,
huge.
man.
I would
deep.
like to say yes, but the competition is getting fierce.
Sure.
There's a lot of great guys out there, a lot of guys I aspire to be like and kind of look up to. So, yeah, I would like to say yes, and in my mind, I believe that. But also, I'm humble enough to say that I'm going to do the best I can, and honestly, it's in the hands of the judges.
Sure, you're right.
The judge sport is tough, and that's what I always tell my clientele is it's my goal to get you ready 100%, and this is one sport where we prepare 100% to go and throw the dice.
Right.
Okay? You don't know who's showing up necessarily, and you don't know what the judges are going to want that day.
Right.
You know, so we prepare 100% to go in there and throw the dice.
Well, I think you can, in my honest opinion, being in this sport for a long time, and I think you can be in a top 10 placer. I think you put yourself in the right position, and you go in there big and ripped, you're there.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, because I know this is a question that Zach and I have talked about, is do you feel like the tattoos or anything hinder judging?
I think, sometimes from a symmetry standpoint it can, but if you look at, Mark Anthony, who's the first Mr. Olympia,
right.
He's got a lot of tattoos.
Right.
I think tattoos are just like the rest of life. They're very mainstream.
Sure.
Can it break up your symmetry sometime? Yeah, I have a lot of tattoos. Is it going to make or break? I think if you bring an extremely conditioned body, that's going to show more than the tattoos.
It's funny because it's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I said because Zach, we're going to get him on stage next year, and you see a lot more tattoos, like you said. It's becoming more and more mainstream. You have tattoos,
right?
And so I'm always interested. That's the only holdback why I think that I'm not more tatted is because of the worry of blurring the lines. You know
now
what I mean?
I am. I'd have more too if it wasn't for. I want to get my ribs done, but that cuts the obliques, the serratus, all those other muscles. So. I don't think it's a make or break yet. I know females ask that a lot of times too. I think if you bring a really stellar package, you're going to do well, tattoos or not.
Sure.
And there's a lot of pros that have tattoos.
Right.
So I don't really feel that's that big of a hindrance. As far as judging is concerned.
Sure.
So
That's awesome, man. Well, guys, hey, thank you for tuning in. Kelly Schmidt in the house, new IFBB Pro. Big man Zach ran back there. He's all happy now because he knows his tats aren't going to hinder him from stage time, people. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Stay focused. Stay on your dreams. Mike Best Bodybuilding Show coming at you. We'll be back.